Okay, next we have old business. Consider resolution number 212-17 to decriminalize entheogens in Arcata. May we please have a staff report?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor and Council. It's recommended tonight that you consider a resolution here in Arcata that would basically declare that the investigation and the arrest of individuals 21 years of age and older involved in the adult personal use, cultivation, and possession of entheogenic plants and fungi not be a priority for the city of Arcata. As almost all of you recall, and I know that Councilmember Matthews has reviewed, on July 21st, the City Council directed staff to review the proposed resolution from Decriminalize Nature Humboldt, designed to decriminalize adult personal use of entheogens, and to obtain a recommendation from our Public Safety Committee. This resolution was reviewed by staff, and we had considerable back and forth with a small working group from Decriminalize Nature Humboldt, and have come up with language that is agreed upon sort of between the staff and that working group to bring before you tonight here at the City Council level. Just as a little bit of background, psychedelics were broadly banned under the 1970 Controlled Substance Act. More recently, many scientists in places such as Johns Hopkins University, New York University, UCLA Medical Center, and have conducted smaller studies that suggest the use of several of these plants and fungi, guided by trained professionals, really do have the potential to relieve many mental health illnesses and struggles for individuals. In 2018, the Food and Drug Administration granted psilocybin a breakthrough therapy designation or status, which should support additional research now and the potential approval for medicinal treatments of that particular constituent. Amidst what is the potential health benefits of entheogens, there is a cautionary note about the strength of impairment that is often experienced by these users. And we have heard from a few community members about that concern, that without supervision and support, or in the wrong setting, people can have what have been described as terrifying experiences, sometimes with lasting effects. Following the proposed resolution, in your packet tonight was a list of resources if you were interested in really delving into sort of the potential benefits of each of the potential entheogens that are of interest. From a policy standpoint, the Council reviewed last time SB 519, which was introduced in early 2021. It was pulled by the author at the state legislative level in the end of August, just really, I think, prior to the recall election. There were several bills that were pulled that were not going to be considered by this legislative session. But prior to that, it had been approved by the Senate as a 21-16 and 3 abstention vote, and it was making its way to the Assembly. That particular bill would have made it lawful to possess for personal use or facilitated and supported use of several of the constituents that are before you tonight. Also working just with the authorization of 21 years and older. The bill also would require the California Department of Public Health to convene a working group to research and to make recommendations to the legislature on the regulation of these substances. So I do believe that this is a bill that will be coming back before the state legislature next year for continued discussion and potential vote within the Assembly. The Public Safety Committee did review the resolution proposed by Decriminalize Nature Humboldt and accepted public comment on July 28th. And there was a motion that the motion was to support the resolution with the stipulation that it is for personal and private use and that it include an education component. And the motion was passed on a 3-0-1 vote, 1 abstention, and 1 member was absent that evening. So I know that a lot of you have done a lot of research, so I was going to hold my comment short, but I'm happy to answer any questions. There are a few specific things that were added to the resolution, and we can pull that up if you want to look at them more closely. But I think compared to the version that you saw originally, the two I'll say the 3 kind of most significant changes. One was the addition of the words 21 years and older. That wasn't in the original one. The second one is just recognition by this council, based on being sort of a college town here in Arcata, that this resolution does not extend to the properties that are owned or leased by the California State University system. And the group really supported reaching out to the district attorney, and we worked on that language around what the district attorney would support support within that resolution as well. And so they did send the language of the resolution to her, specifically the recommendation around how we would forward things to the district attorney. And her response, just paraphrased, is that in essence, she is prosecuting based on cases that are coming to her by local jurisdictions. So provided that, we are following the policy, that then those are the cases that she's going to be reviewing. So she really didn't see a lot of conflict in cases that would be coming to her around this resolution.
I wanted to add that I was one of the people that was hesitant the first time around, and I felt like it was just coming at us fast, and perhaps the public wasn't fully aware of what we were doing, and I just wanted to be sure that the public had a chance to digest the information and that it was a good fit for our community. I also requested, I wanted our police chief and public safety committee to also be able to recommend or be able to live with, the changes that would be made in the resolution. And we also asked for community engagement and education, which has been happening pretty much nonstop since that meeting. So they've done an excellent job in educating and engaging with our community. So I really feel that our community should be aware of what is going on. And I've, to this point, only had one person really argue against it, and all of the many other correspondents that I've had have been in support of it. So I feel like we have given it, I feel like the Decriminalize Nature has done a great job of doing their work engaging the community.
Yeah, I don't have much to add. I think that Decriminalize Nature Humboldt has done a really excellent job around community education. I know they've been sharing with us, the feedback and the numbers of attendance and things that they've been having at their events, as well as the farmers market, and it's just really impressive. So I feel really secure in knowing that our community has a great educational resource and support system around this. And I think, from our last meeting too, I just continue to support and really, I know, as Karen said, we're going to have a lot of public comment, I'm sure. So thank you all in advance for everything you're going to share and, all the hard work that's gone into this.
I think a lot of people already know where I stand, but I just want to thank, Decriminalize Nature for being so wonderful to work with and just very receptive to the changes that wanted to be made and, just helpful in implementing them, and just has been wonderful meeting with them and working on this. So I know they're all here listening, so thank you.
Just the acknowledgement that if people use too much, that it can have harmful effects. And it's one thing that I'm not really seeing in the resolution so far is there's no guidance on dosage. But there is, I believe that what a lot of the people are talking about to support this were in support of a microdosing. I know we did hear some feedback at the last time this came before the council that higher doses were beneficial for different kinds of experiences. But I guess the safety is still a big concern of mine. So I just suggest that, and I'm just saying this now so everybody can think about it while we listen to all the public comment, that we add two whereases. One is something like, whereas it is recommended users seek out guidance by trained professionals. That's basically the exact language that's recommended by research scientists at Johns Hopkins University and Harbor UCLA Medical Center. So yeah, something like, whereas it is recommended users seek out guidance by trained professionals. And another whereas that I like the very last sentence on the first page of the background discussion. It says, without supervision and support or in the wrong setting, people can have terrifying experiences, sometimes with lasting effects. So I just don't want to blur over the fact that I just feel guidance and supervision is needed. I worry about people without any experience, having bad experiences, I guess. So those are my comments. And other than that, I like the resolution. I've read it through. I like the new language that's been added. Yeah. So with that, we will take public comment.
Okay, our first 4 public comments are going to come from the working group committee. In order, they'll be Danielle, Taylor, Skip, and Jen. All right, Danielle, go ahead and start.
Hey, I'm Danielle, lead organizer of Decriminalize Nature Humboldt. I first want to start by saying thank you so much to the committee or to the council for your kind words and your support. It means so much and makes my heart so happy. We put so much work into this. I understand the concerns of people taking too much and maybe getting overwhelmed by the experience of a strong psychedelics. But what we have been doing is trying to teach people how to take these in a good way and in a safe way. And with decriminalization, we will have more abilities to teach people how to take these in a good way and provide safe spaces for people to take these in a therapeutic way. But decriminalization is the first step. And limiting it to trained professionals is really going to limit access to these medicines for a lot of people. And as a community, and especially with the establishment of Humboldt Psychedelic Society, we are able to provide the education that is needed and the support that is needed to the community to be able to take these in a good way. So I guess that's all I wanted to say. I was planning on saying other stuff, but I do want to keep it short and allow time for others. But yeah, again, thank you so much. And we have worked, so hard with the city council, the city manager, and chief of police. And we thank you for collaborating on a resolution that everyone is happy with. And I graciously ask for your yes vote to decriminalize entheogens in Arcata. And yes, again, thank you so much.
Thank you, Danielle. Go ahead, Taylor.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, City Councilors, our City Manager, and Chief of Police. I just want to say thank you so much for so much of your communication, your time and energy in working on this resolution with us. I really felt like, we were all working together on this. It didn't ever feel like an us versus them. And I just want to say thank you so very much for all of your openness to communicate about this. Under the directive of the City Council to educate and gain community support, we have collected over 330 letters of support, of which I have 270 here in my hands that we've been turning into the City Council. We've collected these at our tabling at almost every farmer's market except for one. We skipped out on one rainy farmer's market, but we've been there every Saturday. We've had 2 educational events with speakers and films that we've shown that garnered a great deal of support from the community. And I want to take a moment to thank all 330 people who took the time to come and sign one of these letters or to write their own letter, and to all of the people who wrote the many, many emails that we've heard so much about that we will never be able to count, but we've heard from the council that they have received many, many emails of support. So thank you very much.
So we have been doing a lot of work, as you've seen, educating the community. I just want to point out that we do intend to, even after the vote, continue to provide support and education to the community. We will be, in the way of the Humboldt Psychedelic Society. We plan to continue tabling the Arcata's Farmers Market, continuing to do our educational events, and we are starting different support groups. First, we intend to start an integration circle, regular every month, that would provide a more close-knit support structure for people looking to integrate or receive support for challenging experiences or transformative experiences, or really just provide a safe space for people to receive that support. It is our hope that the Humboldt Psychedelic Society becomes a pillar in our community and serve the community for years to come.
Tonight I'm here, I shared my personal story at a prior meeting, but I work in the field of addiction and trauma recovery as a holistic specialist. And part of the work that I do is integration of psychedelic experiences for clients who typically have been going out of the area. And I've been doing this for over 5 years. We work with people in recovery from addiction, with veterans, with first responders. and I've seen so many miracles, and there can be a learning curve. So I'm honored to make my commitment to this community to oversee the development of the integration circles that will be open to all community members for free. And not only will we help carry people through their experiences so that they can use them to make positive life changes and reach their goals on their healing journey, but also to provide the education that is the concern of all of us so that people are using these in the therapeutic, safe and correct ways that this resolution is intended for. So I look forward to finally being able to bring my work that I see so many miracles happen with into my own community where it's so needed if we are able to pass this tonight. Thank you.
I live in Arcata, obviously, and I am a full-time care coordinator for a holistic wellness and psychedelic integration provider who is, they only provide ketamine treatments to clients suffering from a wide range of mood disorders, including depression, anxiety, PTSD, and bipolar disorder. Most of our clients have tried many, many different forms of treatment, including all the SSRIs that you can think of, and have had no success. So mostly we treat treatment-resistant depression. And while ketamine treatments have been successful, the relapse rates are extremely high. And I do think that ketamine is not the ideal treatment for treatment-resistant depression. I do think that the current research that's being done and has already been done has shown much better evidence for psilocybin assisted therapy for treating such disorders. So there's that component. And then I also just want to say that part of Decriminalize Nature's mission to decriminalize rather than legalize entheogens is extremely important insofar as it will help us restore and evolve modern communities and individuals' relationships with nature, and by doing so, keeping these sacred plants and fungi safe from profit-motivated private companies who may tarnish the integrity of these relationships that can be fostered and improve the lives of the people in our communities. I think that Decriminalize Nature's mission to decriminalize rather than legalize is extremely forward-thinking and responsible, and that Arcata has the potential to be the first example of the way that fostering these relationships between sacred plants and fungi, between them and individuals and their communities, can happen, and that approach is the way that we will be able to help so many people in this world.
Speaker is Connor. Go ahead.
Can you hear me?
We can.
Okay. Hello, Council. I'd just like to say, coming from a familial history of alcoholism, cocaine abuse, and a personal history of narcotic, cocaine, and alcohol abuse, as well as depression and antisocial behavior, I'm confident in the causal link of my self-administered and solitary experiences with both psilocybin mushrooms and lysergic acid diethylamide with my concurrent recovery from addictive relationships, as well as my current work to mend my troubled familial and other interpersonal relationships. I firmly believe these entheogens, with the aid of reasonable education and opportunity to integrate experiences through community or personally with a therapeutic setting, can be of unparalleled personal and communal benefit. Humboldt County and Arcata particularly, I have found to be hosts of mindfulness with regard to these substances, and I think present a fertile opportunity for the integration of entheogens into open society. With regard to dosage, I think it isn't a surprise to say that nobody would choose an overwhelming experience, and education about dose as well as such guiding principles within entheogenic communities as appropriate set and settings, if provided, will effectively address what concerns are validly present with regard to misuse of these medicines and the potentially overwhelming states people may unwillingly bring about within themselves. I strongly encourage decriminalization of entheogens in Arcata.
Dr. Norris, looks like you'll be the last speaker.
Great. Hello, everybody. Thank you very much. I just want to say it's really been an honor and a pleasure to work with everybody there. Sorry, I'm looking on two different screens here, so I apologize if I'm looking up there. Thank you, Karen. Thank you, all the city council members. Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Police Chief. You've all been really great to work with in this process. I just want to kind of let you know also, Seattle just passed, as you might have heard, a few days ago, 9-0 unanimous vote. So that's pretty great. Grand Rapids, Michigan just passed not too long ago. You have a really strong team out there. All the people that are doing all the education out there. It's been really, really beautiful to see how we've all kind of coalesced in this community. I do want to say, in regards to the recommendations, I really appreciate Taylor's point that in Part H that talks about elders and other community members that can be involved with this without necessarily being professionals or trained professionals, because at this point in time, a lot of the trained professionals aren't really understanding the inner experiences. And also, we had some concerns in other city attorneys' offices that if a city council member really speaks about dosages, it could put them in some sort of legal challenge. So, that's again where it's really great to kind of allow the community that's really growing there do the education, which they're already doing, to really talk about starting in small doses and things like that. But really excited to hear that you're bringing this to the table. Thank you, everybody. It has been really a pleasure to work with you all, and I look forward to continuing to work with the education team out there in Arcata. Support this bill, please. Thank you.
All right, thank you. We have at least one more. Go ahead. Is it Jenny or Jeannie? Go ahead and unmute yourself now.
Hello.
We can hear you. Go ahead. Perfect.
Okay. My name's Jenny Stepanian. I am a criminal defense attorney, and I am a former Humboldt public defender. I thank you for being here. This community means so much to me, and thank you for allowing me to speak. I have quite a bit of experience with clients with psychiatric illnesses and mental health illnesses. Plant-based medicines can treat, to a significant degree, quite a bit of mental illnesses: depression, PTSD, addiction. But the problem has been the law. The problem has been that it's been illegal to do studies in this country. Other countries, it's not the case. It's a lot like marijuana 30 years ago. In 2006, our Supreme Court unanimously held that the government was required to permit transportation, distribution, possession, and use of plant-based medicines for religious organizations. But science has been blocked. Clinical trials have been blocked, and they've been inhibited. This is because ayahuasca, peyote, psilocybin, and cannabis are all Schedule I drugs classified by our federal government as having no medical use and being highly addictive. But that classification happened many years ago, and science has taught us differently. There's 2 universities that are coming out with groundbreaking results that are paving the way for psychedelic medicine. Johns Hopkins University came out with a 2016 study that had 51 clinically chronic cancer patients that also suffered from depression. They did a 5-week trial and took psilocybin. There was an 80% decrease in their depression during the 5-week trial, and that 80% decrease lasted for 6 months after.
Obviously the most precise thing to do is to define everything in a document, but I think in some respects this is really a sort of policy guidance document. And I think it's providing guidance to your police department for how to approach this activity in the community. And I think that allows a certain level of sort of common sense use of what a therapeutic setting is, because a therapeutic setting to one person may be different to another. And I think ultimately what the city ought to be interested in is protecting the safety of the community. And if it's being used in a safe manner in what is a therapeutic setting to one person, but not to another, I think the overarching intent of this resolution is that law enforcement would take no action. It would not be a priority situation. And the converse is true. What somebody may consider therapeutic may actually not be in the best safety interests. So maybe there should be some intervention. So I am very sorry I gave you a lawyer's complicated answer.
Thanks, Nancy. To me, I'm fine with the language the way it is. that sentence does say use requires risk reduction strategies and education. And I think that kind of sums up the concern anyway, in my opinion. And I think because all parties were comfortable with this language before we came here tonight, I would feel most comfortable just moving forward with what we have.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like, to me, it's a medicine. I guess that's the way, I feel like that's the way it's being portrayed to us. That's kind of the argument. And, like with any medicine, you would get it from somebody like a doctor who would give you, guidance on how to take it. When you get the pill bottle, it might even say, don't do these things, or here are some bad side effects that might happen. And I just don't want to glaze over the potential risks. I mean, I feel even now the language, risk reduction strategies. I mean, that's pretty soft to me. I mean, the other language it talked about, that was just more. Let me see if I can find it here. People can have terrifying experiences sometimes with lasting effects. Nobody's denying that. So I just think we owe it to our constituents who, we're kind of sending this message out. In a sense, people are going to feel like this is us telling them it's okay and it's safe. So I just want to make sure that we're being responsible with the safety of our citizens and just really giving a clear message out there that there is, potential downside and you need to be very careful.
I mean, I do appreciate that, and I think that, everybody wants the whole community to be safe with this, but I would say, yes, I get my antidepressants from a doctor with instructions, but then I take them in my home every day without any sort of supervision, and so I think that as long as there's education and support saying that people need to take it in a therapeutic setting. I mean, their therapeutic setting could be alone in their bedroom as long as they've had previous education. And then also I think we have a fear, and rightly so, that, things can go wrong, but we also have alcohol that is completely legal in our society and completely acceptable, and things can go horribly wrong with alcohol. People can overdose, they can need their stomach pumped, all sorts of really bad things can happen. We have huge problems with alcoholism, but we're not talking about, we're not afraid of that in the same way. And so I think there's a risk with anything, but I really strongly believe in the education that our community groups are stepping up to provide.
Yeah. And I just wanted to add to that piece, just that it's hard to say that, it should be prescribed by a doctor, because the way that it exists now, you can't do that. And so that, this makes that okay, but it also makes, people who want to have certain experiences, religious experiences, it's not just the medicinal side, I think, that has been portrayed to us as well. I think it has also been the religious side. And the speaker that also talked about, psilocybin has been used in ancient Native American rituals for hundreds and thousands of years. And so it is an ancestral, medicine. Yeah, I was trying to not use that word, but I mean, it's an ancestral, rite of passage for a lot of cultures as well. So I don't, to say that it has to be something that is, it's medical is not necessarily, I think, the spirit of the resolution either. So, but.
Yeah, just to clarify, I wasn't saying we need to, call it a medicine or get a doctor's approval. I just, again, wanted to make sure we were being clear with people that, there is a, there's always risk, there's a potential downside. Everybody wants to point to all these scientific studies, like, look at all these great scientific studies people are doing, and everyone, feels like it's okay and you should try it. The same people doing those studies are also saying guided by a trained professional. So we can't just take part of the study that we like and then leave the rest of it. And I'm actually okay with, I totally agreed with Sarah earlier about, we can, it's kind of covered in there where we don't necessarily need to say a trained professional. But again, I just think we need stronger language that's clear to people that there is a potential risk and there is a downside.
We could take it out too and just go for it.
Yeah, I'm willing to vote yes with the language addition you suggested, and it's currently up on the screen. So, absent of that, I'm a no.
Nope, it's a resolution, so it would be, yeah, you would just be adopting the resolution, and you would be adopting Resolution 212-17. Do you have it in front of you? Okay.
So I move that we adopt resolution number 212-17 to decriminalize entheogens in Arcata with the present language changes.
I second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor? Aye.
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 Motion carries unanimously. Congratulations, Decriminalize Nature. Definitely put in a lot of work and it paid off.